Maori rights were enshrined in the treaty. An interim ruling by the Waitangi Tribunal set up in 1975 to deal with Maori grievances about land and related issues says that the Maori have freshwater rights, for which full ownership was the closest cultural equivalent in 1840.
To enshrine means to take something or principle and to make it holy, in a sense. To turn it into a revered object and place it in an appropriate receptacle or box or cabinet to preserve it. And then this is oftentimes used for ideas. For example, we say the Constitution is enshrined in the American political system. It was the foundation of how our government was formed, and so people are very reluctant to change it in any sort of way because they think of it as being almost like a religious object. So to enshrine means to preserve or protect something in a form that serves to provide or guarantee that it will survive into the future. The original meaning of shrine is it was actually a box that a religious object was placed into. So you can have a little shrine on your desk. For example, you can have a shrine to your college. You can have your diploma, and you can have your class ring, and you come back home and you look at it and think how great it is. Or you can have a shrine to Buddha or to Jesus or whoever you want. And similarly, this would form almost like a religious object that you could use. And then shrines can be bigger too. They don't have to be so small. Usually smaller than a church, though. A lot of people think that what we consider to be freedoms are enshrined in the Bill of Rights, which talks about free expression, religion, and don't get tortured, other things. But nowadays, most of the idea of human rights is enshrined in the 14th Amendment, which refers to the idea of everybody getting treated equally by the government. So with these principles, they've been able to come up with laws about protecting minorities, black people, gay people, and women, handicapped people, and so forth. The idea being that people that don't have all the privileges of some people should be able to participate freely in society. But now and then, folks, they will take objects of things that exist during their time, and they will put them inside time capsules, which is basically a little box, and they save it for like 100 years. So here in Chicago, I think there was a time capsule from, I think it was like 100 years ago or 150 years ago, and they took out the objects with great ceremony, and it was supposed to give people an idea of what life was like 100 years ago.
He must tread a careful line. Most New Zealanders dislike the idea of privatising water.
To tread a careful line or to tread a fine line means to move ahead, but do so very carefully. Tread means to walk. But if you want to make walking sound more important, then you call it treading. A line can refer to a way of doing something, similar to a path or a roadway, or a line can also refer to almost like a set of barriers, where if you follow the line, it means that you're doing things exactly the way that they told you to do it. So if you tread a careful line, what it means is that you're not only walking carefully, but you're also being careful not to go outside of a very narrow range of actions. So that's what tread a careful line means. And typically it's used for very delicate situations. You can imagine a diplomat trying to stop a war between two countries. So the diplomat may need to make demands, maybe very forceful demands, but on the other hand, they don't want to start the war up again. So they have to tread a very careful line. So tread can mean to walk. It also refers to the pattern that you see on wheels, such as bicycle wheels or car wheels, and also the pattern on the bottom of your shoes. That's called the tread. The tread is also what you step on when you climb up the stairs. It's the flat part. That's called the tread. And then the tread is also the big metal thing that you see on tanks that helps to move the tank forward. So tread is very closely associated with movement, and like I said, it's just a little fancier than saying walk. It means to walk very carefully. Most of the time, though, tread is used ironically. I would say I need to tread on down to the store and go buy some milk. So I'm taking something that's not very important, like buying milk, and then I'm trying to make it sound important by using the word tread instead. Parents have to tread a very careful line when it comes to raising children. They want their children to be independent, so they don't want to be looking over their shoulder all the time. But at the same time, they don't want their children to go out and start doing wild, crazy things either. So it's very important for parents to tread a careful line when raising children. When a person is starting a new job, it's very important to tread a careful line, because if they make enemies their first day on the job, they may be ruining their chances forever. Or similarly, if they leave bad impressions with people or do other negative things, then it may could affect the entire course of the job. It could even affect the entire course of their careers. So it's very important to tread carefully. ESL-fullsteamahead.com